danced in front of the diet. So
Just took it from the hip, huh?
exactly. The best way to
Hey,
fly.
Mayor.
Hey, Bobby, what the hell? How are you?
Hey, I'm chiming in.
Oh boy, good deal. How you doing? You having a good time?
Oh man, yeah, it's great. It's not like any place I've been before. It's awesome.
That's pretty cool down there.
We went on the big thing was we went on a seaplane yesterday, and that was pretty cool to the Grand Tortugas, whatever.
Grand Tortuga. Ooh.
Yeah, the Grand Tortuga,
the
national park.
Excellent. Well, Colette's kind of old family down there, isn't she?
Yeah, totally, completely. Yeah.
Cool.
They're like the pretty well known local family.
Excellent.
What's the weather like?
It's been it's been a little bit cool for here, like in the 60s, but today it's about 75.
Oh, wow.
And I went on a 10-mile walk. I walked around the whole island today.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nice. So yeah, it's been a good trip.
Cool. When are you coming back? The 21st, 22nd?
Yeah, I'm coming back Sunday. How are we doing? How has the rain subsided?
Today's the first day. It's really pretty good. It's going to be supposedly good the next few days, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been following the weather channel. Did we have much damage or?
Oh yeah.
Lost over 60 trees in town.
A lot of the beach, 60 trees.
We should probably wait until the meeting starts before we have a conversation about the storm damage.
Okay.
Really, we can't even discuss the weather, huh? All right.
Well, it's related to the topic that we're going to be meeting on.
Okay, just give me a shit. Give me a hard time.
I'll tell you one thing that's funny. Since this was right after our last meeting, is I haven't been in a car since I got here. Everybody is on bicycles. Everybody. It's a riot. Everybody has their bicycles all dolled up and decorated. And we went out with Colette's parents the other night on bicycles. It was hilarious.
Hopefully they've got the configuration that'll handle it.
Bobby,
Yeah.
where do I miss that?
I'm in Key West.
Oh, okay.
All right, it is 12:31. It is the 7th of January. No, that's the wrong one. Hold on a second. It is the
17th.
17th of January. We are calling to order a special meeting in honor of the Carmel-by-the-Sea City Council. Over, could we get a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilmember Barron? Thank you, sir. Councilmember Barron? Councilmember Dramoff?
Here.
Councilmember Ferlito?
Here.
Councilmember Barron?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Richards?
Here.
Mayor Potter?
Present.
All are present.
All righty. Public appearance is an opportunity for anybody to speak on an item that is not on this agenda. Anybody in the public wishing to do so? So,
We do have
all right.
some.
Yes, Mayor Potter, may I speak?
Yes, who are you? Where are you?
Michael McWalters, Scenic Road, 2 north of 11th. How are you?
Good, thank you, sir.
So I was reading the Design Traditions 1.5 draft. I was pleasantly surprised and happy to see the term forest canopy prominent throughout the document. And then it occurred to me that wireless antenna cell towers, 5G antennas, require what's called line of sight in order to work properly. Practically speaking, what does line of sight mean? Line of sight means there can be nothing in the way. There cannot be any trees or tree branches on a straight line between cell towers' antennas, or the antennas won't work. So on my walk down Carmelo, I counted, because 5G antennas need to be spaced 250 feet apart in order to work. So from Ocean to Santa Lucia, I counted 13 5G antennas for Carmelo for Verizon. But then I remembered that if you give 13 to Verizon, you have to give 13 to AT&T, 13 to Sprint, 13 to T-Mobile. That's 52 5G antennas from Ocean to Santa Lucia on Carmelo. And then I thought, well, wait a minute, they have to do that on every street. So there's 8 streets from San Antonio to San Carlos. That's 416 5G antennas in the rectangle. And in order for those 416 5G antennas to work properly, you need to have line of sight, which means that all those trees that are in the way, they have to be removed. All the tree branches that are in the way, they have to be removed. So we need to have a very strict cell wireless ordinance to protect our forest canopy. And it occurs to me that the alternative to 5G ruining our forest is to have fiber optic installed along all these streets in the rectangle so that our forest is protected and we're still getting the services of a 5G, only we're getting it via the fiber optic. And then the last thing is, I'd like to call all of your attention to the website called Carmelunderground.org. Great website. Dale Byrne put it together. A lot of great articles. There's a lot of great videos. And I would just like you guys, if you haven't already, to familiarize yourself with Carmelunderground.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your testimony. Anybody else wishing to speak today on an item that is not on today's agenda? No, what do you think?
I don't see any hands raised on Zoom.
All right, I'll close the public comment period, bring it back to the order of business. And one item before us today, Resolution 2023-008, ratifying the proclamation of an existence of a local emergency due to the 2022-2023 atmospheric river winter storm event. Fairly straightforward item. I hope it won't take too long. Chip?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to Mr. Pierik and his colleagues and associates who drafted this, for us. Obviously, we've gotten pretty battered here. Just by way of background, the Monterey County Board of Supervisors declared an emergency. Governor Newsom has as well for the entire state of California. On Sunday, President Biden declared an emergency for 3 counties in California: Sacramento, Santa Cruz, and Merced. And Deanna Sessoms from our league office is inquiring whether he's going to broaden that to include counties like Monterey that have also sustained a lot of damage as a result of the some people gave me grief over the weekend. I call it an atmospheric river instead of rivers. I don't know if it seemed like it was just this one long, multiple week river that we were getting battered. But I don't think that detail really matters. We have learned that apparently President Biden is going to visit Santa Cruz County later this week to survey the damage. So we put this together for you. Have a couple of comments that I've received from a couple of the members already. Number one, in the first 2 recitals, we reference an epidemic. If you have, if you'd like to change the wording from an epidemic to, winter storms, we're okay with that. In one of the recitals, one of the last recitals, the second to the last, we talk about damages exceeding $1.5 million. Our supposition is that damages will exceed that amount when you add in things like damage to our city infrastructure, our streets, and our pathways. You've seen the damage on those, the beach staircases, certainly is our tree canopy that we've just discussed. So we could increase that number, but it will likely exceed that. And remember, the genesis of this item is so that we will be able to apply for reimbursement for some of our expenditures we did have extra personnel in our fire department, our police department, our public works staff responding. Chief Watkins was able to secure through Councilmember Tice 6 room nights at the Hofstas house. We only had to pay if we used them, but again, with the potential last week of becoming an island, the peninsula becoming an island, we wanted to make sure that our staff that lived outside the boundaries of the peninsula were able to have someone somewhere safe and warm and secure to stay while servicing the city. So anyway, that's why this item's largely before you. Again, in the second to the last recital, if you're keen on adding damage, like I've read before, to city infrastructure such as our staircases, our fences, walls, pathways, and forested canopy, those are all words that we can add, Mr. Mayor. And again, thanks to Mr. Purick, and thank you to our staff and our volunteer groups for helping us get through this rather historic event. Again, it's been 25 years since we've sustained something this significant, and I'm just pleased that no one was hurt, and that we had a staff and community that came together to support our efforts as we battled these storms. So I'll stop blathering there, Mr. Mayor, and take any questions that you might have. And Mr. Purick may have some comments as well, sir.
Thank you, Chip. Are there any questions of Chip or anybody else of staff? Karen?
Yes, I'd also think we would be very wise to reference all the potential repairs that are going to be needed in Mission Trail Nature Preserve. There are trees down on several trails. There are some trails that are impassable. There is erosion along the little creek bed that is going east into Sarah Trail, which may require some serious damage control to not lose that trail. So I think it would be wise to definitely include that. And then if we have any damages along 2nd Avenue, I don't know, along Pescadero Canyon regarding slippage or potential slippage. And I drove by Forest Hill Park. It looked like there's several trees down in Forest Hill Park. I couldn't tell whether any of the infrastructure was damaged or not. But I think the more reference we have to not just infrastructure that's buildings, but also the infrastructure that it makes up our beautiful parks and pathways. I know you mentioned
phrasing that then as a question, the question would be you able to add those?
Yes, would you be able to add those?
Yes, ma'am. We'd be happy to add those.
Any other questions?
Mayor, yeah, could I? We do refer to parks at the top of page 2 in the recital that begins, whereas damage to infrastructure have included, and then there's a whole long list of the various things, and then it concludes damage to public facilities and parks. So I think we've already covered parks, and I would also say that I believe that the language that's in these recitals is very broad and talks about, damage due to the storm. The pivotal part of this resolution is the language that begins, "Now therefore be it resolved." So what you're doing is you're ratifying the proclamation of emergency that Chip had issued, and you'll need to revisit this once every 30 days. But once there's a condition of emergency due to a certain event, whether it's a pandemic or a storm or whatever it might be, this resolution is broad enough to encompass anything that any damage that this storm or storms that come after this might have caused to the city.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions before I take it out to the public? Is there anybody in the public wishing to speak to this item today? Oh, but what do you think?
I don't see any hands raised on Zoom.
All right, well, why don't we bring it back to council and for direction? I just say, Brian, it does say throughout Monterey County there, not just Carmel. So, I mean, is that okay that it's that broad?
Yes.
Question?
Sure, you're in Monterey County, so yeah, it is broad, but it was intended to be that way so that it established that you weren't some, isolated part of the county. It's throughout the county, which would include the city.
All right. Do you have any
Yeah.
questions?
Wouldn't that protect Rio Park since that is in the county, not exactly in the city?
Well, the county's going to have their own declaration, which I think they've already done. So
But Brian, in the case of maybe the repairs to Scenic Road that's on the county, but it overlooks the river mouth, that is an asset though that is used by residents in Carmel and visitors to Carmel also. So if it's possible, we could partner up on that, do you think?
Well, you could certainly reach out to the county and see if they would be prepared to do that.
Very good. All right. Any other questions or comments? Possible motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? Roanoke, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Barron,
Yes.
Councilmember Dramov,
Yes.
Councilmember Ferlito,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Richards,
Yes.
Mayor Potter.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All righty. That pretty much concludes our business of the day. Is there any other comments or questions for council members?
I would only remind council that we need to bring this back every 30 days. So if we want to do that, we could have it as an item on your February 7th council meeting. So that way you wouldn't have to have another special meeting.
Good idea. Appreciate the recommendation. All righty. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you for making yourselves available. I promise to be a short meeting. Lived up to that promise. I will see you later. Chip, I'll see you at Bobby.
Bye all.
Joe, I'll see you and Chip at Streets 2:30, right? All right, great. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.